2, 1, and we are live. What's up, guys?
And then, oh, okay. And then my wife said,
Oh, okay.
"Oh, wait.
What's
I don't
happening,
have a
man?
wife."
Oh, you can't do that?
Yeah,
You
I can.
can't?
I'm just being a dick.
Okay, all right. I can do it with both hands. There you go. Yeah. Live long
Now,
and
is it
prosper.
with the thumbs shut or the thumbs out?
Open like this, out.
That's what I always can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, I can do this too.
You're so talented.
And
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Star Trek Picard review recap discussion.
What we can remember.
We hopefully will have Dave join us, but today we've got two special guests, Mr. T-Man 978 and Mr.
Yeah.
Partsformer / Matt McCardle / Redshirt.
Are we special guests at our channel?
Well, on this Star Trek based show, you are special guests.
Okay.
I am
But do I
welcoming
have to
you
get-
into the Star Trek fandom.
Do I have to get
Dave.
beamed in order to join?
Beamed, and what other? Well, we did a lot of beaming last night too, didn't we? With steel beams
Yeah, I didn't know
Uh,
if you meant like during
and-
or after the show.
and
I wasn't
railed.
privy to your activities.
You could be, yeah,
post show.
re-railed and derailed. So
Just
one
like
thing
this
I
episode.
exactly, just like all of our episodes. So one thing I wanted to do real quick, since you guys weren't with us last week, was get your guys' quick impressions on the first episode of Star Trek Picard.
Who'll go
Me.
first? Me?
Yeah.
I liked the first episode. It really got me hooked in with the characters they had in there. And the shocking ending, or almost ending, where they killed like one of the main protagonists. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that at all. But it did make me interested in what the heck was going on. And wondering how they're gonna resolve this, or how Picard is gonna resolve this. But
Matt?
yeah.
I will give you the nickel tour of my Star Trek background, and we'll go from there. So I've seen the good movies of the old ones. So that's the odd ones, right? No, the even ones. Which one? I've seen Khan. I've seen then jumping ahead. I've seen the Generations, First Contact. I've seen all of the new Chris Pine movies. I've never watched any Star Trek show at all at any kind of length or magnitude. So barely, maybe an episode here or there. In fact, I often joke that when I'm at the gym, they have Next Generation playing on one of the TVs, and I'll text them saying, "Hey, I'm on the treadmill watching Next Generation." They're all sitting and talking. And then 20 minutes later, I'll be like, "Hey, man, guess what? They're still sitting. They're still talking." So I like Star Trek. I know of the characters. Not a big investment for me. I'm more of a Star Wars guy. Big shock. But I say that to say this. I really liked Picard. It seemed to be I have no prior knowledge and don't get a lot of little in-jokes and stuff, but I still really liked it enough to come back to episode 2. In fact, I even subscribed to All Access just so I could watch the episodes without
now
having to
there's a
jump through
commitment.
all the portals. Well, they give you a week free, and then if you go to Retail Me Not, you can get the next 2 months half off. So what's two and a half?
I think you can get a deal too with Verizon if you
Maybe
have Verizon.
it's not even worth it. I mean, by the time this deal runs out, the show will be over. So. And then I'll pick it up when it comes back. I really like Picard. I'm in for the run. Back to you.
Very good, awesome.
Number one.
So one thing that I missed last week when me and Dave were talking was in the first episode, they name dropped this guy a couple times, Bruce Maddox, and I completely butchered his name last week when we were talking about the show. But it completely flew over my head, and I have to apologize for all the other Trekkies out there that I didn't catch on to this. But Bruce Maddox is going to play a big part of this season, and he actually was a character that showed up, and if I can get my screen to share, He's this guy right here. He was in a season 2 episode of Next Generation, and this guy, what he wanted to do was he was trying to prove that Data is just a machine and he's property of Star Trek or Starfleet, and that as a Starfleet piece of equipment that he could basically he wanted to tear him apart, inspect him, reverse engineer him. His goal was to build more synths, datas, so that they could replicate his success that he's had on the Enterprise on all ships. So he obviously he failed. They had a little hearings, kind of court martial with a judge and everything, and Picard was Data's like lawyer in a sense.
I mean, in this picture itself, you can see that Picard is not happy with this gentleman. Like,
no, and as you can
see, mistrust here.
And as you can see, he is sternly sitting in that chair.
Yeah, with a creepy grin.
Yes. So you didn't miss much in the next generation as far as sitting in chairs. They got that covered.
I forgot how skinny he was in that show.
Yeah, and I completely missed this. I completely missed it. I learned about this afterwards, and I was like, oh, that's who that guy is. So I thought it was pretty cool that they're making connections like that to the original show. Not there's
thousands of hours. You aren't. We don't expect you to remember all of this.
Well, I watched this show every episode every episode at least 2 or 3 times, and some episodes dozens of times. And I never knew that Picard had a crystal on his desk until I learned about the Mandela effect. And I still don't believe he ever had a crystal on his desk.
Was it in the last episode? Wasn't it in Picard already?
I don't think so, but it could have been. It could have been Mandela already. I mean, who knows?
Your memory's already been tampered with.
Yeah, so I wanted to point that out.
My history is I watched the original one with Captain Kirk and all those. I really got hooked into Next Generation, but I haven't watched any episodes since like 1995. So that was like over 20 years ago. So, and the other shows like Deep Space Nine and Voyager, I watched those passingly. Like if I was up late, I think they used to come on late at night. So if I was just woke at night, sometimes I would watch an episode, but I was super not invested. Only thing I can remember is staring at 7 of 9 in that tight outfit. Like, holy crap.
Yes.
Wasn't it like one color?
She had like it was like a grayish, like shiny-ish, like, I think she called it a cat suit, but it was like a leotard kind of spandex. And if you ever watched Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, the Vulcan T'Pol, she also wore a very form-fitting one-piece uniform like that. So
you know what? I watched the original movie, and I forgot that they had men. Well, they had this in the first episode of Next Generation. I forgot they had the men wearing skirts and whatnot.
Yeah. Yep.
Thankfully, that completely out of my mind.
Thankfully, that didn't catch on. I mean, it's the future; they can wear whatever they want, but it did look a little weird because the men were literally wearing like the same outfit as Troy, the Counselor Troy. She wore the same little mini skirt outfit, and then there was a couple dudes walking around in the hallway with the same thing. So, whatever they predicted it back then. They were like, you know what, in the future, weird shit like this is going to happen, and here we are in 2020, and welcome to weird shit.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wow, and like nobody made a big deal out of this, but
nope,
that's exactly what's going on right now.
Yep.
One thing I remember from the movie though, one of the guys had on an outfit like 7 of 9, and I was like, wow, that is much more than I need to see right now.
All right, well let's go through a little recap of episode 2. Right? I do. I've got a bunch. I'm actually prepared this week.
Hey everybody, what you
There we
doing?
go.
I clicked like. Did you click like?
I didn't because I'm.
I haven't yet.
You made the damn thing.
We got 5 likes.
Here we go. I just clicked it. I did the like. I did the thing. Everybody,
Yeah,
click the like button.
Y'all got to earn it from me.
And hopefully you guys have your notifications turned on so that when we do go live, like tonight, when
I
it's
can see 8
kind of a
people
short
did.
notice thing, that you get your notification. Your phone will tell you, hey, figure action's on. So anyway, we are going to flash back 14 years to the Utopia shipyards. And I thought this was kind of cool because this dude's like having the best day of his life, it looks like.
Happiest fucking maintenance worker
He's-
anybody's ever seen.
He is so happy, and he's like, hey, plastic people, come join me.
With the
You
cleanest
know,
helmet ever.
Was that racist?
It might
When you
be.
call them plastic people.
It might be. And then, yeah, sure enough, he has a whole room full of synths here, and it looks like they are not not like data. They're not sentient. They're just, robots that are used for labor. And they crack jokes at them, and I think the synth said, like they said, would you get in any trouble last night? And he's like, hell yeah, I did. And she's like, what did you do? And he's like, nothing. Okay.
Did they seem about as sentient as Data was when the show first started? Where he had to learn.
Yeah. They probably have restrictions, I would think.
Yeah, 'cause
So,
it seemed
and then-
like they can learn a little bit. Like he was trying to get involved with their conversation.
Yeah. And he has a little creepy smile competition with this dude here.
Can you go back a frame? Real quick? Can you, Joe? Can you take your glasses off and smile and look off to the right? Because I think I see a little bit. Okay, I think I've confirmed something here, but I don't know what it is. I don't think I'm coming over your head.
There might be a relation. I don't know who won this contest, but
That dude.
Yeah, I think that dude.
Definitely.
F8
that dude won.
But it
'Cause-
was close.
Yeah, he gets a download, or he must have had his YouTube notifications turned on. He got the notification that we were going live. His eyes flash.
He gets some
And-
kind of signal or something.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, now I got to cause mischief. So he starts hacking into the computer, and he's like turning. Oh, I just said computer, so now my Alexa's lit up. It looks like he's disabling security systems, and this chick's like, what the hell is this guy up to? I don't trust these guys. And I thought this was kind of cool. So I'm guessing that this is like a huge defense array that is probably intended to repel attackers that are coming to attack the planet. But it looks like at this point, he's hacked into these things and turns them around to fire on the planet itself.
Can I postulate a different theory?
Go ahead.
I thought when they showed an aerial shot, and given the fact that they're all like wearing this gear that appears to be either maintenance or mining, is it a mining colony, that part that they're at?
Well,
Because
it's
I
a
thought
ship.
These would have been.
It's a shipyard, so they are building the ships, the fleet,
Okay,
the
'cause
first.
I don't know. At
Starfleet.
first thought, I thought, well, maybe these are some kind of orbital mining lasers that they were able to like pinpoint, precision strike from orbit. So in my mind, that's what I'm going with.
They probably have that capability.
I would think they probably have that capability. That, or they're bringing in like large asteroids or something like that, and they're towing them in, and they're using the lasers to mine that to get the raw materials. But then so our friend F8 here decides he's going to play laser tag with his coworkers, and he's pretty good at it. It seems like he's got good aim.
They didn't win at all. They didn't.
Yeah, yeah, he won laser tag.
Completely. And they even
These
showed
guys-
little tiny puddles of blood if you paid attention.
These guys are just sleeping. I think they're okay. They're going to get better.
Yeah. You know, you scared the crap out of me when they took the phasers off of stun and they shot somebody and they completely disappeared. And I was like, holy crap, that would be horrible. Like, you're just completely gone. And
Yeah.
your family doesn't know where you are. Nothing there.
Real quick, Fabulous Disaster in the chat says, I'll watch this later after I watch the episode. yeah, there's going to be spoilers. We maybe did not mention that earlier, but this is a
Spoiler filled.
episode 2
Make that flash
review
on the bottom of the
recap.
screen.
Yeah, we should probably do that. Matt, you want to set that up?
Gotcha.
I got a bunch of wires here. But yeah, so he wins laser tag, and then he decides that he's going to laser tag himself.
Yeah. And they cut away gracefully before
Gracefully back to the vineyards. And this is where things get really exciting for you, Matt, because what do we get in this scene? But some intense sitting in chairs.
I mean,
Well, they were walking too.
I was sitting in my recliner watching this, and I actually had to grab the armrest to hold myself in place.
I mean, and look, there's 2 empty chairs here that they could be sitting in, and Picard's like, why are you guys not sitting in a chair like I am? I don't understand.
And she's casually leaning, and he's just standing, and it's a fucking... I mean, we could tell this is not the next generation. This is beyond.
Well, you know what? This guy is a little... I don't trust this dude. This guy here, I do not trust him. He stands in that exact same pose in every single scene so far of this show. I don't think he's moved outside of that pose at all.
They don't pay him enough.
Keep your eyes on that guy. He's look, there he is. Look, see? Same pose.
Maybe he's a synthetic Romulan.
So in this scene, they're talking about that who could be responsible for the attack on Dodge that killed her. These Romulan, I guess we'll call them a hit squad, and they say that there's an organization that's basically like the Romulan secret police, and then the Miss Irish Romulan here calls them the oh god, I can't even say
Graz or something like
the
that.
the Zat Vash.
Zat Vash.
Yeah, Zat Vash. I did. I wrote it down. Zat Vash. So
they're like the DJD.
Maybe either that or they're
what are they called for the Nazis? The
SS.
Yes, the SS.
Yeah, or what's the Russians version of that? The
like all the Russians.
the Gestapo. They're like the Gestapo. So
yeah.
And so they're like a mythical kind of, maybe they exist, maybe they don't, up to no good Romulan agency, we'll say. Yeah.
Men in Black.
Men in Black. And Picard looks very concerned about this while sitting in his chair.
I wonder if they know that I need to change.
And now he looks pretty skeptical. He's not convinced. So they beam into Dodge's apartment and they're investigating. And she has a pretty cool trick where she can shine this scanner across the room and recreate. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of no, not Batman. It reminded me of that game, Division. Have you guys played Division?
Not yet.
I did in school, but I don't like math.
Very good.
The Arkham games, Batman had that visor that could recreate scenarios.
He did. Yeah, so it is like an Arkham, and Division had this thing where there was like a holographic recaps of like things that happened throughout the city. You could activate them, and it would play out a little scene in a hologram, and it was very much like this.
So they probably stole it from that.
It kind of cuts back and forth while they're talking about this, and this is I like this part here because Picard, he's eyeing up that chair, and he's like, I don't live here, but he's like, I really want to sit in this chair. But then this is what happens. She sits down in the chair, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm the one that's supposed to sit in the chair. And you can tell he's pretty pissed about it, and he's telling her, this is my chair. I saw it first.
Earl Grey yet or anything.
Yeah, I think he called dibs on it. Like, he clearly was calling dibs on that chair.
And she was all like, she just sat down and she was like, this isn't the Enterprise. And you're like, oh.
That's good. You got to do her voice from here on out because I can't do the Irish accent.
Do a good Irish accent. I'll be in charge of her voice for the rest.
There you go. Thank you.
I thought that was weird.
Christ.
Where did she get the accent?
I mean, Ireland still exists, right? She could have spent some time there.
Yeah.
A
So
lot of time.
I think we're going to learn about them. The way. Oh, look, there's Dave. Hey, Dave.
Hi.
Happy birthday, by the way, Dave.
Oh, that
Thank
Dave.
Dave, you haven't missed much. We've just started doing the recap, and I pointed out that last week I completely missed it, and I think you also completely missed it. That the character Bruce Maddox is from the season 2 episode of
Trouble.
Next Generation. What was it called? Where the guy was trying to get Data to take him apart and study him, and they had that little like court or
Shit.
Measure of a Man. That's what it was called, Measure of a Man. So he's from that episode, and he's been name dropped in this. So it's connecting TNG a lot with this new show, which we knew would happen. But this is a direct connection to a particular episode, to a particular plot line.
Where we found out his off switch.
Yes, and at the end, they basically the judge concluded that Data had the right to choose whether he would go through with that procedure or not.
I remember that.
And oddly enough, because I kind of thought that, we'll get to it in this episode, but the one doctor lady kind of references that Bruce and Data actually kind of became friends, which I thought would be unusual because he wanted to take him apart. But I went back and watched that episode, and he, at the end of it, he actually had a little bit of like respect for Data. Mm-hmm. When Data walked up to him and said, "I hereby officially refuse," or whatever, but he said, "Continue your research because you're on to something, and when you get there, I'll be here and I'll help you out." And you could tell there was a little bit of mutual respect, even though the one dude was being a dick and he wanted to take Data apart.
Y'all
Yeah, I'm
just
looking it up
reminded
right
me of
now.
that on-off switch. I forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So where are we at in our recap?
So
The Borg.
I mean,
we just stood to the part where Picard was clearly calling dibs on this chair. He wanted to sit in that chair, and he wanted to sit in it hard. And she sat in the chair instead, and he was pissed. So
Okay. Well, talk to the beginning, that beginning aspect of it with the whole, the recap of the alien. I'm sorry, of the synthetics. Cool. Okay, I'm good.
yeah, we went through all that. Yep.
Oh, that was awesome.
now, let me ask you real quick at this point too. For you hardened Star Trek fans, is it jarring to hear outright cursing?
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that part yet, but it is a little bit.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, it is a little bit jarring.
That threw me off guard. That did throw me off guard.
I didn't expect it.
We've gotten to
But-
that part because.
but it was funny, I left.
Scene.
Oh,
was like, "Fuck you, bitch! Get out of my chair." Remember?
Oh yeah, he did say that. He did. He did say that.
Oh yeah, the hubris. Roland's talking about right here. The hubris. The fucking hubris.
You know, when I heard it, I was happy. It made me laugh because I didn't expect her to say that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they could get away with that.
I really liked that scene, but we'll get there. So anyway,
Okay, we'll get.
we're gonna
Actually, that
Go
alien
ahead.
right there. That alien.
yeah.
Because that same costume was used at Starfleet.
Yeah. So I was like, it must be more than one of them.
Oh well, yeah. There probably is. There's probably
No, but
lots of
that
them.
specific costume was used twice.
It's a species.
Hey,
Don't be
come on.
species.
Dave. She's
They
an
all look
extra.
alike, Dave. Come on.
They're an
Okay.
extra. So here we
There's a part that
go.
I liked.
Hey,
Here we
Battlestar
go.
Galactica.
Yeah.
What's the difference between, as far as looks, Dave, with Romulans and Vulcans?
Eyebrows.
Yeah. Is it the Romulans have a little bit more aggressive, like
Yeah, they have the crest, and they have the forehead crest.
it's a little bit more. Well,
Well, this guy's a Romulan, right?
Oh,
in
yeah.
TNG, they were very easy to tell apart, but I do believe it's their eyebrows are a little bit more.
Aggressive.
Wow.
Yeah. Angle of attack is a little bit more aggressive. So these two got along. I mean, they just met, people.
And
I
she
mean,
blatantly says, "Oh, and you already slept with me."
yeah. I mean, I think they're moving a little too fast, but whatever.
Come on,
This is-
Dad.
This is Matt's favorite part of the episode.
You are correct.
She wasted no time though. She got. I think this scene here was kind of a throwaway thing. I mean, it was mainly to point. It was mainly to show that this dude is already a little untrustworthy. He's saying he's very secretive. He doesn't want to tell her what he does, and yada yada yada.
Were
but
there bloomers that big in the Captain Kirk's days?
was the what that big?
They're bloomers.
Did you just say bloomers?
Bloomers?
What she
Which
was wearing
Kirk?
was bloomers. They
Which
weren't
Kirk?
panties. The one from the 60s.
Those are panties
say,
with a
because-
capital P.
Because I was.
But look how far up. If they cover your belly buttons, they're bloomers.
Didn't know that this episode was going to get into the details
Okay,
of undergarments, but
Let's talk about Trek.
Dave, can you Google that, the difference between bloomers and panties?
No.
Joe will do it from his work computer. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll wait till I go back to work and do it. So yeah, this scene was kind of a throwaway thing. They just didn't really. This was kind of cool because I believe that's her flower. Is that her flower that she was talking about? That was named after her. But anyway, this guy shows up, and apparently these two served with each other on the Stargazer. I don't remember him. I don't think he was ever in TNG.
So we don't know this guy?
I don't think so, but apparently they served together in the past.
That was
Pri-
apparently the medical officer for the
For the Stargazer, yeah. So they know each other. They have a history, and Picard is really excited because he's like, "You're gonna reinstate me into Starfleet, and you're gonna give me the medical approval." And then he says, "I got really bad news. You might want to sit down." And then Picard's like, "I love sitting down. I will sit down." And he says,
Chair.
"Your brain's broken, and you're probably going to go insane and die." And Picard's like, "Yeah, probably, and I already knew that."
He was
What
like,
was
that
cool-
already happened to me in that movie with Logan.
Well, what's really cool about this is it directly connects to the final episode of Next Gen, All Good Things, when the future version of Picard had that brain condition that was causing him to be a little senile. And at the end of that episode, or I don't know if it was really directly at the end, but at one point in the episode, in the current timeline of TNG, Dr. Crusher had done a brain scan on Picard and said that he had the whatever condition in his whatever part of his brain that could lead to complications further down the road. So this didn't really surprise him. He was kind of like, okay, I already knew that. And he says, I was told that something like this could happen.
Continuity.
And then, of course, are you sure you want to go to space knowing this?
Absolutely, he does. Yeah.
Even
So-
more so.
But it's going to be interesting to see if they really that I guess they're setting it up so like if they make 2 or 3 seasons of this and Patrick Stewart just gets more and more insane as he gets older, then they already have it written into the storyline as like that's what's supposed to happen. So there's your solar panels, Matt.
I'm really excited about
Oh, wait. That's one.
That's a lot of solar panels.
it. It is. It's a good use of the bridge since no one needs the bridge anymore.
Mm-hmm. And this was kind of cool. So I think this is what they should have shown in the first episode because they kind of zipped around so much. And we know that they're teleporting, but I did see some people on the internet that were like, how come they're just all over the place? Well, they got transporters. And so this is kind of cool to see how they would set these up in public spaces to where you would just walk in and out of these things. How it knows where to send you? Like, I don't know.
It might be a set destination.
Yeah,
Or
like
you
maybe
have a
you...
token or something too. on
Or your phone or your watch or whatever
Okay.
says I'm going here.
Like the stone in God of War 4.
I don't know God of War.
Good
Or
game.
like maybe on the other side of the bridge, since you can't walk onto the bridge, you walk into the portal and then you come out this end of it.
Well, this looks like it's kind of away from that. I think this is. I think you're wrong.
I think this is like for now. My theory is that this would be for like short distance, like maybe around the city kind of stuff.
I also want to point out this was my second favorite scene in this episode.
I actually really enjoyed this scene, this part in particular, because
Yeah.
he's like, he's like,
You glazed
what's-
over the best part of that scene, by the way.
what, this part here?
Yeah, the music.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, well all the music I think has been
No,
been
specifically, they were finally playing the dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
There's elements of that in the opening sequence too, by the way, at the end. I don't know
Yeah.
if you picked up on it or not. But yeah, this kid must be his first day, and he's like, your name? I don't know. I don't recognize you. You're only like the most famous, member or something. And he's like,
he is
how
standing.
do you? He is standing, and probably he didn't recognize it. He, usually sitting down in a chair. I get it, but Picard literally is like, seriously, you don't recognize me?
Yeah.
Has to spell his name out. And the kid's
It made
like,
me
yeah.
think about how we talk about kids not knowing what DVD players and stuff are.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been too many years, Picard. And look, he's pissed.
He is pissed off, and he has to get a little visitor badge, and he is mad about this.
He spent a appreciable amount of this episode being angry. It's like staring angrily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this chick here,
His discount Glenn Close. Yeah.
I am calling her Admiral Resting Bitch Face.
Was she an established character, or is she new?
She could be an established character, but she's been what is it called? We've done a reboot or whatever, a retcon. Yeah, we've retconned her to Admiral RBF.
Okay, I was just curious if she was was that the prosecutor from the Drumhead trial?
I don't think so.
If you know, drop it in the comments because we don't.
It does look, though, like they're trying to make her look older than she is, so I'm wondering if they're going to have flashbacks and she's going to be a younger character, because doesn't it kind of look like she's really not that old?
She looks pretty old.
Okay, whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, so
this whole part shocked me.
yeah, I liked this because he's, like, saying what's going on, and she's kind of like, yeah, sure, whatever. There's Romulan operations in secret, and he's like, I just want a small ship. I want to go out and investigate this. And then I love the part where he's like, now, if you feel like my rank would be a problem, I'm okay with being demoted to captain. And then she gets triggered, and she's like, fuck you. She literally is like, you sheer fucking hubris, and she goes off on him. And granted, this is not like what Starfleet should be, and Picard obviously is what Starfleet should be. But yeah, she goes off on him, and I thought that was freaking hilarious.
You know what though, as an outsider looking in, it seems to me that between the front desk scene and this, there seems to be a bit of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but Picard kind of seems taken aback that his notoriety is not getting him as far as he feels like it should. Front desk dude didn't recognize him, which clearly he should have. She's not giving him a whole lot of latitude or respect. Yeah, and I think it almost, I think it's good because it's like he figured he would waltz in here, kind of like red carpet, they would welcome him back. Here's my list of demands. Yes, sir, Captain or Admiral, whatever you need. And it's definitely not like that now.
No. She makes the points of we didn't have enough ships, and they had a lot of member species of the Federation that were saying, if you help the Romulans and use resources on the Romulans, we're out. And so Picard obviously wasn't having any of that, and he defied them like he would. That was what Picard would do. He feels that he's going to do the right thing.
She is new. This is her first appearance, so I just did a quick nerd out.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, she didn't look familiar. But, she pretty much tells Picard that...
Go fuck himself.
Yeah, he's getting shit, and he's pretty pissed, and she's like, you can just fuck off. And then this is the part where I was like, She
basically told him to fuck off.
Yeah, she did, and he's not going to fuck off, but then he immediately fucks off, and so I was really confused by that, because it's just, the way he looked when he was coming down the escalator was, I don't know why they have escalators, but anyway, they still have escalators, but yeah, he just winks and he says, okay, I'll fuck off then.
I would imagine
that is a mean picture right there. That is like, that is like begging so many on that one,
Did you grab these screen caps yourself?
I searched them on the internet, and then I had to. Well, what I did was I cropped them like crazy because I didn't want CBS to put me in jail. So, no, not watermarks. It was just, and look out here. Look out the window though. See this little drone?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a subtle, like, is someone spying on Picard?
I think that was a spaceship.
You know what?
Was
though?
it a spaceship?
We've seen the drone. You say that. That reminds me. We've seen the drones hovering around before and
outside of her apartment.
Right. Yes. Good eye. Everybody.
I had to watch the scene again. When I saw it as a screenshot, as a still, I was like, okay.
While you're talking, let me go back.
I could have swore it was a ship that was like pulling up and it pulled off.
It's a Tesla. Its stock is going so well, it goes all the way to the 23rd century.
That stock is so freaking hot right now. Anyway, let's not derail this podcast.
The Irish chick's reaction when he got back and told her what happened, that was my reaction. Like, you just went in there telling them everything.
Yeah. So yeah, we go back to the Borg cube, and they're putting on some clean suits. They're getting ready to go into like a restricted area. And here's the part that was
favorite.
This is really cool. So it says this facility has gone what looks like 5,843
days without assimilation.
Without an assimilation, I think it's 5,843. So
and that Robin was such an ass. He was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one you can definitely tell. See the angle of his eyebrows?
Yeah, that's a lot different.
That is a Romulan all day long. I think the Vulcans are not quite as steep. I think they're a little bit less angle.
And then
they used to have something on the forehead, like Dave said.
And then the newbie, that she was helping with get the clean suit on. She was a Trill.
Oh, I didn't pick that up.
If you go back to the picture,
that one standing right behind her.
Yeah, you actually have a picture for her. And there's that freaking alien again. But she actually has the spots going down her neck.
Okay.
I forgot what Trills are.
That's what Dax was. They're basically Trills have a symbiotic relationship with another alien, so they basically take it into their body and their personalities merge together.
That's hot.
It is hot. Matt, you know what these little chambers are here, right?
CR chambers?
Those are for the Borg. They are the regeneration chambers, the sleep chambers for the Borg.
I didn't know and/or didn't remember that.
They're basically like wireless, like Chi wireless charters for Borg.
It's a CR chamber.
Yeah.
Okay.
For you Beast Wars fans, which they should totally not make a movie on.
So we go back to the vineyard again, and this is the kind of stuff I love about this show, because honestly, I could watch an hour-long scene of just straight Picard making tea. This is
when I went to make some Earl Grey at work.
This is the peak action of Star Trek.
And the meta reference, the science fiction reference. Never get into science fiction.
Yeah, a little off his but.
So yeah, he says, can I make you some tea? And she's like, yeah, I would love to have some tea. And she's like, do you think maybe we could sit down? And he was like, fuck yeah, we can sit down. Let's do that.
I got chairs, bitch.
Yeah.
What kind of science fiction do they have in this future where all this stuff is real?
Well, he was reading Isaac Asimov, which was science fiction from the 1960s. I know it's a little before your time, but
which that was a cool connection too, though, because that is basically the basis behind the iRobot movie. The 3 laws of robotics.
Which is the basis behind Data. Data has a positronic brain, and Isaac Asimov came up with the concept of the positronic brain.
Yeah, and the 3 laws of you cannot harm
harm to a human.
And then there's like do whatever a human tells you unless it conflicts with the first law, and then the third is
self-preservation.
Self-preservation, yeah, unless it conflicts with the first or second law. So basically, F8 in the beginning scene breaks all of those freaking rules. Immediately.
Reminds me never to tell dumb jokes to a robot, because apparently it turns them into homicidal maniacs and kills an entire planet.
Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't even make a comment about the really bad Dave dad joke. Do you want to tell it, Dave?
What's brown and sticky? A stick.
I thought that was a classic Dave joke right there.
I was thinking shit immediately.
So yeah, they're having a good old time, and then she's like, "No, let's get serious." I think this is where she brings up the Bruce Maddox connection again, that Basically, she did some digging and found that the Daj was basically did not exist until 3 years ago. That all of her history of her school life and all that stuff was too perfect, and there was no records of her actually going to the school, but she had all the credits and all that, and that she was accepted into the Daystrom Institute, but she was like the perfect candidate, a little too perfect, and that there was something going on that was being set up around her, and she's kind of, I guess, digging through files or whatever that Bruce Maddox has left behind. So we're definitely going to see and hear from this Bruce Maddox character. It'll be interesting to see if they cast the same dude from
If
next
the
year.
guy's still alive, he's going to get the casting.
We have to look up the name of that actor. I'm sure he is.
Joe, I've confirmed that ship outside the escalator scene is just a shuttle taking off. Just one of the
Don't ruin my theories, man.
theory debunked for now.
Yeah, all right. Well, it was good while it lasted. It looked like
I was right.
So then we get to see some cool shots of Borg that are being
Evil.
literally, deborged.
And they've been explaining what this thing is. You know, we kind of glossed over that. This is a cube that's been cut off from the collective, supposedly.
Yeah, cut off, and that they're still, and they have these zones, so they call it a gray zone, where there's basically still Borg in the gray zone, but they're not part of the collective, and it's still possible, I guess, for those Borg to assimilate other people.
Just not for 5,000 days.
But yeah, that hasn't happened for 5,000.
No,
So
I wasn't sure whether they were putting him down or fixing him.
I think that they are dismantling them because they
Yes.
pull his arm off, and it is interesting to see that in the future they still have these vacuum seal bags that you can buy on QVC Network. But instead of using a vacuum, it uses a light, which is pretty cool.
Ultraviolet, probably.
Yeah,
Oh, they have those too now. I think if you put the heat on it, it will suck the air out.
there you go.
This is the future, so that's actually mega violet. It's ultra.
But yeah, they literally take the ocular implant right off this dude's, and it doesn't look like he's going to get better. This guy
Yeah.
looks like he did.
They've
Yeah,
got
she says
experience
something.
of the Nameless.
Yeah, so this chick here calls them the Nameless.
I
And
forgot that was a female.
so what's her name? Soja? Soja? Whatever her name. The other twin.
So
She says, "Don't call them that. I don't like that." Yada yada. And they specifically say that they don't know what species that this individual originally was. But then it's interesting that she walks up to it and she speaks its language. Of course, we see it in subtitles. And she basically says, like, "You're free now." So
Which causes him to be like, what?
he's like, "I'm dead," you know. So
No, the other dude, the dude that's watching her.
yeah, he is watching her and he's up to no good.
But when she spoke in, I guess Borg or whatever, he was looked at her like, that's
Well, I
something."
think she's speaking this individual's original species language.
Yeah, because I think
hey.
Borg is just every language, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, that was the part of, remember, if you want to see me at work, you got to get the director's permission. He's like, actually, I don't.
Yeah. He's connected somehow, which we'll see in here in a minute. But it's I don't know what the end game is here though. Are they just harvesting the Borg tech? Are they trying to figure out like a way to basically control the Borg, or it's a lot of different angles that this could go as far as the Borg are concerned.
I guess we gotta wait. I thought at first that they were hailing him, like taking all the Borg stuff off of him so he wouldn't be a Borg anymore, and they were gonna hail him. But then it seemed like he was being put down.
I think we might see that because they did confirm that the Borg Hugh is going to be in this show.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Jerry Ryan's in it.
Yeah, and Jerry Ryan's in it.
So we
But
got 7 and 9.
yeah, so Hugh I would imagine we might see 7 and 9 in the next episode, if not the one after that. Pretty soon, I would say. But yeah, so Hugh is a basically. I think he's going to be a converted Borg when we see him in this show. I don't think he'll be just one of the random Borg on that cube either. So we'll see. So yeah, Picard puts his old communicator on, and he hails someone that I think Rafi, right? Is that what he says, Rafi? I don't think we're.
Don't hang up.
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to know who she is because that name doesn't sound familiar to me at all.
So this is my inexperience as a Star Trek fan. When he slapped the communicator, like, how does it know who he's calling?
It just does.
Like, when he hit it and he spoke the name right off the bat, I'm like, but he didn't dial. He didn't say, like, communicator, dial up this guy for me. It just knew. How
It just
in
knew.
advance.
Yeah.
So that's a thing that we just have to accept.
That's just a thing, just like how in Star Wars, little droids can just go beep, 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 boop, 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 beep, and you're supposed to know what that means.
Well, that's a language, though.
Sure.
Remember, it is the future based on our present, so it's actually still a variation of the Facebook algorithm. That's why it knows what to put an ad
That's
before
true.
you turn on your computer. So
So it already knew.
the whole
Yeah.
time it's been listening and hearing the argument. So
So he likely muttered before he got that out of the box, "Oh, I'm going to call
Yep.
Rafi," and then it's like, "Oh, gotcha, dude." Okay.
thinking
Uncle
the old
Zuck
show-
probably invented this.
it already went through his friends list because he's like, okay, he already went through He's complaining that Starfleet. He's complaining with this. It's the only person he can call. So
And you know what though? He would have had to have given it permission when he first got it out of the box because you got to give permissions. So it's really his fault.
well, he's lazy, so he automatically enabled permission.
He's not lazy.
Yeah.
He just likes
He
to
just-
sit. There's a difference.
I think he skipped every single one of those screens.
Yeah, you just
during
tab
setup.
through or just
Yeah.
click through. Yeah.
Anyway,
Didn't the old show, didn't they hit it and say computer?
Enterprise.
Yeah, they would just like kind of generally hail the Enterprise. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. They would just tap it and say, "Oh, Mr. Worf," and it would magically be Mr. Worf on the other
Speaking
side.
of
So
Enterprise-
it just worked that way.
Did you guys get the feels when he walked into Starfleet and his particular model that I don't know off the top of my head appeared above him? Was that a moment?
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see.
the
It
music
kind of
playing,
made
that
me think
music
whether.
helped.
Dave, do you think we're going to see whatever current version of the Enterprise is in this time during this show?
Part of me hopes it doesn't, but part of me thinks that's going to be the fitting ship that whenever he goes off on this wild errand, that this lovely woman here is probably going to send after him.
Yeah. So this chick here is
It's
Bad
pretty
news.
Commodore resting bitch face. And they have a little competition going here between each other. I'm trying to figure out the angle here. So, Admiral Lady, I don't think she's evil. I just think she's
a bitch.
a bitch. The Romulan Vulcan chick here, she's Romulan, right? Is she?
I don't
Romulan?
think she can be Romulan.
No, she's not Romulan. The
No,
other
She
she's
can't
one,
be in
Vulcan.
Starfleet.
But she's a bitch too. So if she was Vulcan, she wouldn't be a bitch.
That's why I'm confused. I thought she was a Vulcan, but she has emotion. But they might have got rid of all those traditions after the planet blew up, right?
Well, does
No,
she have
Vulcan-
emotions? Because she seemed just stern, but not really overly
She's
emotional.
stern, but
Nah, she
she's
seems angry.
She's
emotional.
She's
This chick,
emotional.
well, we see more from her in a little bit, but I couldn't figure out exactly the angle in this scene whether or not which one was kind of up to no good. I'm
The lady
Resting
with the
bitch.
yellow on
Yeah.
was up to no good.
she's definitely up to no good. But I'm wondering if the admiral herself is involved with this, or if
I
she's
would
just
think so.
Yeah, I don't
I didn't think she had anything to do with it.
Because
She
that
don't know nothing.
conversation was without the wink, like
yeah.
I would, if I knew, you would know. It's like she
Only
was-
people knows is her and the Romulan sister that appears later.
Yes, yeah, we're gonna get to her in just a second. Matt, you want to do her voice real quick?
I'm super angry, and I don't think I'm very happy with the decision you're making.
And he's like, but Mom, I just want to go to space.
You haven't even cleaned up your chateau yet. Christ.
And look, once again, this dude's
He's
sitting in that.
standing there.
He's standing there in that same stance, and
He
she's
didn't
like,
actually move. They just like got a hand truck and just moved.
they
over.
did, and then
That's-
she's like, "Don't
they're-
give me any of that stance."
They're brother and sister, aren't they?
I
I would think.
don't know. I don't know. We're
Or
gonna
married.
learn.
They could be married. Were they married?
We're definitely gonna learn more about
And
that.
you can go and die with them.
Yeah, and he's like, "Women, right?" So this is the part where we know, like, this chick's definitely, she's evil, and T, this is where your lens flares really kick in here.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah, some major lens flares. I think JJ must have shot this scene. But this is kind of cool because it kind of reminds me of like a future version of like, she must be like a ancestor of J. Jonah Jameson, because she's like, I want more pictures of Picard now. She's already got some decent pics. But what's crazy is the chick is not in this scene. The Daj, in all these pictures that they show, and earlier in this episode and in the last episode, it just shows Picard walking around like the chick wasn't even
That's because
there.
they scrubbed it, though.
Yeah,
I thought that was because they removed the evidence.
Yeah, so
I'm with Matt on this one.
but then she's pointing out like, hey, do you think this looks like
Yeah, because the other
disruptor-
on it.
a disruptor flare? So I'm wondering if this chick here doesn't know what's going on.
No, she does. She was being
Definitely
passive.
does.
She was being passive aggressive.
She was
Yeah,
being
she's
passive.
saying-
So there's two angles. She's either saying, hey, you didn't do a good enough job scrubbing the evidence
Yeah,
because look at this.
That's what I was thinking. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking.
Or is this what I think it is? We need to look into that.
No.
I don't think it's
No.
She knew what it was. You're gonna have to watch that part again, Joe.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
because
will.
this whole conversation indicates that they know exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
They
and
even
that
talk
covers
about the
something up.
sister.
Yeah.
Sportimus says it's called lousy writing.
It is not lousy writing.
I mean, anything can be picked apart. I don't.
Yeah, anything
Doesn't-
can be. And then here's a space,
Space
or not
taxi.
space, yeah, space taxi. And T and I were talking about this earlier. I don't think he would take a teleporter to a remote location like this because I think for a long distance, like site to site beaming, Dave, don't you have to have like a higher power? Like that has to be done like from the ship to ground kind of thing,
Correct. That's why.
and then back up to the pad, or well, it used to be to the pad, and then I think in next gen they could just beam them anywhere. But I don't think that they can just beam halfway around the planet whenever they want,
Right.
unless they're from orbit or something like that. So in this case, yeah, he would have to take the space taxi or the Johnny Cab.
Maybe they need like line of sight to tell to, you know,
Yeah, I don't. Well,
or at least range. You know, you can't put.
Yeah,
you can't
I
put
would
into the planet.
I would say like the little booth things that they were walking in and out of are probably low power teleporters. And if you're on a ship like the Enterprise, you could have a lot more power at your disposal, and you can beam yourself further or through objects. And
Because you got a warp core.
yeah, that's a theory I'm going with. Because why else would he take a shuttle? That's another resting bitch face. This is kind of a common theme in this episode. But I don't know who this is. A new character. I don't know who this is.
That is Raffi.
That's Raffi, but I don't know who this is. She does not look happy to see him. She points a gun at him right away. And he's like, okay, I'll fuck off again, I guess. But he's like, I got wine. Hey, look, I got wine. And she's like, oh, yeah, I like wine.
Well, it was also the what can you say that would make get my attention? That he's like, well, secret Romulan assassins. That's about it.
She's like, is that 84?
86.
86.
Don't be man. Don't be in Star Trek trivia. So speaking of Star Trek trivia, I just happened to look this one up here. Raffi, played by Michelle Hurd, has a homestead located in Vasquez Rocks. This was used to film a lot of original Star Trek episodes, including Arena, which was the Kirk. So that's where Kirk versus Gorn was.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
The alien thing?
yes, Gorn. That one time we saved that. Never mind. Robot chicken.
You know they have that Fortnite lizard guy that looks just like that.
And then we got these two.
Now, so they're brother and sister, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's basically saying you're not working fast enough. You're not doing a good enough job. Don't screw this up. And by the way, I'm coming. I'm on my way or whatever, and I'm going to do it my way. So they're having a little like clash, a little bit of like he's got his method or whatever. he's trying to maybe do a little bit of espionage. Get Soji to trust him for whatever reason, so that we don't know what their goal is, and
He's pulling the
Get to the
bot.
fan.
she's going to be a little bit more blunt.
Well, he was already blunt with her. I mean, he banged her.
He did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think this dynamic, though, just from this scene, they need to be careful with this, at least from my point of view, because I think this could get annoying. The sort of brother-sister thing's done a lot, and this, I don't know. I was fine with it, but I'm like, y'all are kind of.
Just as long as they don't go Lannister on us.
That was my next point. I was gonna say that. I'm like, they're almost cutting into Lannister territory, and that maybe could be dicey.
Because you saw when she looked at his bed.
Yeah, and well,
Yeah,
she
well,
was just indicating to him that she knew his methods,
Mhm.
like what he was getting up to. So,
And he did tell us she looked like a weirdo with her round ears. I
yeah,
guess
so
her
we know
normal
that she's
eyebrows,
Romulan.
too.
Yeah, that she's undergone some sort of whatever procedure to make her look human. But why would she have to do that when her boss Commodore is clearly not human?
Because she's going to blend in with the rest of Starfleet.
Would
I
it
don't
be
think she
easier?
can be in Starfleet being
Would-
a Romulan.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be easier just to say like I'm Vulcan? Maybe just change her eyebrow a little bit. Just say I'm a Vulcan now.
No, being human is way better.
Because
It
the
is.
emotional aspect, they should pretend being motionless.
Yeah, and she might be under less scrutiny if she's not a related species.
As long as they don't cut her blood, and because wouldn't she be bleeding green too?
Yes, I would think, unless there's some kind of blood transfusion she can go through.
That would suck.
Oh yeah. And this is it. That's the end of the episode right there.
It was a weird ending, though, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it kind of just stopped.
It did. It just kind of stopped, it was a very fast-paced episode, even though there wasn't really like a ton of action. But I felt like it was still very fast-paced because it went back and forth through the scenes rather quickly.
And not
And
only
then
that, but there was
and
a
then
lot
it just
of almost
ended.
Sitting, but
I would
not
have
quite
flipped
sitting.
the scenes, to be honest. I would have flipped the scenes at the very end. It would be the Raffi scene where he walks up with a bottle of wine, and that would fade out. That's how I would have ended it, to be honest.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that.
But things are moving forward. It was definitely not stagnant.
Here's that guy, Dave. Bruce Maddox.
God, he just has that slappable face.
Yeah.
I think that's what Picard is about to do in that shot.
Yeah, they did that on purpose.
Don't make me get out of my chair.
So, what do you guys think? Like the episode?
It's still got my attention. They're slowly feeding us out. I mean, they also did a nice little, not quite meta thing, but the whole part of you need a crew. You could get Geordi. You could get
Yeah.
Riker.
you could get Riker. Like he blatantly called it out. I was like, dude, get the gang back together. And he's like, no.
And I like his reason, though, because he knew that they would do it out of loyalty to him, and he doesn't want them to feel obligated to do that.
We know Riker's going to be there looking old.
Oh, yeah, he
I
does.
just
They
saw
haven't shown Geordi.
I just saw Jonathan Frakes about 6 months ago at the con I was at.
I just hope he can still do the Riker maneuver. If they don't have the Riker maneuver in this show, I'm going to be disappointed.
You might not be able to.
So I could tell you that the actor that played Bruce Maddox in the original Next Generation episode has not been active since 2014.
So
At least as far as IMDb goes.
So he's free.
yeah, so the man needs some money.
Well, I mean, no, I mean he doesn't have it Picard listed as a filmography.
Well, they could be keeping it under wraps.
That or he's
Either that or he did.
or he's watching the
He's
show
dead.
going like, son of a bitch, why I missed that call? Now, just an interesting thing I did notice when watching the credits. Aside from being produced by Patrick Stewart, this show is being produced by Michael Charbon, who was a Pulitzer writer. He wrote a book, just a big fiction author, which I thought was interesting.
Sportimus says the shuttle was reused from Discovery. I'm wondering if are you talking this taxi shuttle?
When we were talking about the
the other outside the window.
Yeah.
I will say the one shuttle, or not. I guess it wasn't a shuttle at the beginning at the Mars scene. That was an exact copy of the shuttle they used on Nemesis when they went down to the planet and they found B4.
Okay.
That was the same type of shuttlecraft. So
now, they're going to have to get more into the whole synthetic thing. I mean, I know I came in late. I mean, you guys talked about when F8 basically downloaded a personality.
Yeah, well, he downloaded some kind of instructions, or somebody hacked him.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody hacked him and made him do what he did. Hacked
or he
all
was
of
a
the
sleeper
synths.
agent, something like that.
Well, he was activated like
right.
Dawes.
Yeah,
That's more likely because they set a precedence for that with her.
So the first thought would be like, okay, well, maybe did the Romulans do that? But then why would the Romulans do that when the Starfleet was actively at that time trying to help the Romulans? So someone else intervened and either hacked or put a virus into those synths that made them do what they did.
Oh.
Maybe knowing that it would have eventually caused Starfleet to pull back their rescue efforts. So maybe they're like an enemy of the Romulans did that.
If that Starfleet lady is a Vulcan and they don't like Romulans, that would make sense.
And
yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that the Vulcans were dicks.
No. Now, I did think it was kind of interesting, just kind of backtracking here, when he was talking with the Admiral, and he's like, Starfleet does not determine what race lives or dies. And she's like, that's exactly what we do.
Yeah, that was that was...
I mean, there was just... that lack of subtlety really was very cool. That, lack of decorum. It was like, no, you, Jean-Luc Picard, are fucking wrong. You screwed us over. And Matt, I just noticed the way your camera is, you have Star Trek lens flare.
You do. I'm digging it. You're fitting right in.
Just noticed that.
Just a little bit maneuvering with the laptop.
I approve on that so well. I love it.
I'm more ready for this than all of you. Except Joe with the screenshots. He was
I was on point with the screenshots.
All the times when Picard almost sat down but didn't. You were on.
Joe,
I want to make a supercut of like maybe a GIF supercut or just a short little video of Picard thinking about sitting in the chair but not sitting in the chair, and then maybe sitting in the chair, getting back up.
You need to use that him going down the escalator though. That needs to be memed.
Yeah, I feel like you can make some memes out of that. Yeah.
But anyway, since this is your show, give Matt some figure action points for the his lens flare.
You know what? You're gonna get 4 figure action points because there are 4 lights. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, it's true.
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Oh, you know what? There were 4 lights in the first episode. What did I say? There was 4 lights. There was a scene it was behind Picard at one point. There was 4 lights in a scene, and I wanted to take a screenshot of that too and send it to you, but I forgot all about it. I'll probably forget about it again in 5 minutes. So we all liked the episode. We all love the show so far. We did 2 in a row. Hopefully we're back next week. Is there anything else anyone wants to add before we wrap it up?
I like the first episode more.
We liked the first episode. There was more action, right?
Yeah.
More action, less tea.
But this one wasn't too bad.
As I said, the momentum's going forward. The story is progressing. They're they're giving us blatant. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I don't know if it is directly connected to his assimilation, but we did make the connections to All Good Things, where he had that abnormality in his brain. But that's a interesting point. It could be caused by that, and maybe later down the road, as whatever they're doing with the Borg tech, maybe it can be fixed. Or maybe they'll just keep it, like I said, they'll just keep it in their back pocket. That way, when Patrick Stewart starts going off the rails, it's already written into the show.
But like I said, I was saying though, they are moving things forward. They're giving us information. I like the fact that the second episode they gave us the synthetic uprising that could easily have been saved to a seventh episode. Like,
That's
oh,
true. Yeah, that's true.
So they're giving it. They're rewarding our patience.
Yeah.
Hey,
So yeah, they could
episode
each.
2.
Well, episode
Yeah,
2.
really.
No, it's episode 2, and they're giving us stuff. They're not just like
Totally agree.
Yeah,
saving
yeah.
it on there and give us a.
Well, each episode maybe will have a little flashback too, because there is a lot of history that we need to be caught up on. That's maybe not going to be revealed just through dialogue with the show. That we're
Exactly.
going to get flashbacks.
They're hitting the nostalgia parts. We get the Stargazer, we get the names being mentioned.
I would like to see some
I want that music. I want more of that music, though. That's
Well, so what was going on during the whole rescue efforts? Like, did Picard, when all the ships were pulled back, did he just go on his own with his ship? And
that might be another.
did he
5-minute
rescue?
opening.
Yeah, like maybe 2 of the people he rescued were the 2 Romulans that he has living with him now, and they feel like they have to help him out.
I'm looking. What I'm just trying to figure out is, and I'm hoping the answer is, why are the Romulans in charge of this reclamation project? Because
Well, they somehow must have came across this cube. They found it. I mean, finders keepers. Right?
But I mean, if the Romulans are this, listen, nobody trusts the Romulans. All of Starfleet wanted us to let the Romulans die. So let's give the Romulans access to the most powerful technology of warfare around.
Well, I get the feeling that no one else is involved.
Yeah, I don't
This
think
is a
anyone
secret
knows.
Romulan
Well,
project.
Yeah.
they keep sending all these other aliens to help them out.
Why
are they-
Who
why are
knows
they-
where those aliens are coming from? They could
Yeah,
be getting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
that is true though, because you don't get the sense that anybody's there against their will, right?
no.
And you don't get the sense that there's a bunch of slave labor. That these are people that are here, kind of like going about their business day, lunch pail in their hand and going out to the water cooler. Like there's no
Or-
real sense of danger.
It wouldn't be the first time that there was
the
a.
dude giving the big speech from the balcony.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that there was a small group within Starfleet that was up to no good, like in the movie just before Nemesis. What was that? Oh, Insurrection, where they were trying to take over that planet because it had the healing properties and all that. Like maybe Starfleet, a small group, is actually helping the Romulans.
This is what I'm
And-
hoping. This is what I'm hoping for these little. That's they've got these are the hooks that keep me going on. If I don't get an answer to that, then that'll be like fuck it.
We'll get an
now.
answer. Yeah.
Which would also make sense why they're sending out the sister. It's not like she has to go undercover then if that's the case. Like, okay, corrupt Starfleet agent can show up because they're all fucking corrupt. Like, they're all there for a reason. So if she shows up, it ain't no big
Ooh.
deal.
Ooh, good point. Good point.
Because we know she's on her way and she's, well, I guess we'll see if she's trying to hide her identity or if she's like, hey, yeah, it's me, motherfuckers. I've shown up.
Yeah. When's my Death Star going to be complete?
And give me my
That's
right?
true.
and give me my
That's
damn
what I'm
ears.
waiting for. I don't know when they got to round out that cube. I guess maybe next episode.
They need a really big chisel.
I need my Death Star and someone give me my damn ears back.
Now I think the main character chick is cute, but if you need a chisel, man, she got a bit of a chin on her. You can use that.
I still
All right.
don't understand how the Borg cube flies.
It's
In space?
It's in space.
But what propels it?
Borg.
Borg, yeah. They,
It's
It's
just
the
like
same
a
thing that
Transformium.
floating cube.
It's the
It's
same thing
propelled
that
by
propel-
Transformium.
It's the same thing. Impulse engines. They've got to drive. They just need something to cause momentum to go forward. That's all you need. An
And they're
object
like-
in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. Come on, man. First law of physics.
damn, smart boy Isaac Newton over here.
And they're like super space roaches too. You can't kill them the same way. over and over again.
That's true. Yeah.
That's also true.
Yep. Good reference. Matt doesn't know that. He's like, yeah, I knew that.
Bored.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. I think that's a pretty good spot
we'll
to
call
end
it
it. All right. Well, like I said, hopefully we'll be back next week. If you guys haven't hit the like button, go ahead and do that. Hit your notification bell. Subscribe. Leave a comment. To everyone that was in the comments tonight, thank you. If you watched this episode after the fact, leave a comment. We'll try to get back to you.
If you want us to do any other shows, let us know.
Yeah. All
If
right.
you want us to stop doing shows, just
We won't do
We'll
that.
do the Mandalorian
Yeah.
season 2.
Plead.
or
You can
volume
plead
2.
all day long, and we will not stop. All right, everybody. Good night.